T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
I am the tiger, dancing through the fire. I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
Well, hello there, my business owning entrepreneurial friends. It's Jason Withers here, live with a Profit Levers radio show on Coach on Fire Radio. Thanks very much for listening in today. I hope you have had, or you are in the process of having, a great day. I'm always very, very happy to be here doing this show for you. Great guests and great topics to help you with all growing more profitable businesses, make it also worthwhile. Now, a little bit of housekeeping for any of our new listeners today. The Profit Levers radio show is brought to you by Coach on Fire Radio, and it's a fortnightly show which airs at midday PST, 3 p.m. EST and 8 p.m. GMT every other Monday. So our next show will be on Monday the 15th of October at the same time, and you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify and iHeartRadio, and there you can catch up on any of the past episodes and obviously subscribe to make sure you catch all the new episodes coming up. Now, in today's show, in the main part, I've got a conversation with today's special guest, Lauren Goldstein, and she's going to be talking to us about how to make things simple so that our businesses can grow. Now, she'll be covering how we can simplify our business strategy to help us shift from being stuck and overwhelmed to being clear, focused and empowered, which all sounds very good. And that adds up to creating a more efficient profit for us all, of course. So really looking forward to today's show. Loads of questions to ask. But before that, I just need to remind you, you can follow me through Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Jason A. Withers, same handle for all three platforms, and you can find me there. So for those of you that haven't met me before, I'm a profit growth strategist, profit mentor, and profit maker and transformer for owner-managed businesses and online entrepreneurs. I'm also a Profit First professional coach, and that helps you take the stress out of cash flow management and helps you to drive more profit growth into your business. That means learning to take your profit and pay yourself first, get that money set aside for your taxes, and also, of course, that then means we have to make the rest of our business fit around that. So in a nutshell, I help ambitious online entrepreneurs and owner-managed businesses just like you to live a more profitable existence. So that means a more fulfilling life for you, more time and freedom to do more of the things that you want to do. Most importantly, though, we do it simply, we do it efficiently, and we always do it together. Now, in the coming weeks, I'll be continuing to interview a series of guests who are going to help us create more profitable businesses sharing their expertise. So we're going to understand how to generate profit in your business. In the remainder of 2018, we've got life coaches, systems geeks and marketing mavens all lined up to bring you the very best of what they have to offer. And that's going to give us the lowdown on how to leverage those skills in your business so that you can make more profit. Now, I believe in profit as the commercial imperative. It is the commercial non-negotiable for me. Why is that? Because I firmly believe that profit gives us choices. More profit gives us more freedom, it gives us more choice, and that allows us to make more impact. Now, that's personally in our businesses and socially as well. So I try and keep it that simple, and I want it to be simple for you too. So let's get on with today's show and discover how we can make more profit by addressing the selection of topics encompassing how we can create a simple strategy designed for profitability in our businesses. So my special guest today is Lauren Goldstein. Now, Lauren is what some would call a maverick leader, which sounds terribly enthralling. She's a serial entrepreneur and fondly known as the Golden Girl of Technology, founder and CEO of internationally successful consulting firm Golden Key Partnership, which specializes in the neuroscience behind business strategy. She helps businesses make things simple so that businesses can grow. She can take the most complex business problems and build a roadmap to lead you to more profit, revenue, productivity, and most importantly, clarity with your business strategy. She's also founded and oversees Golden Key Labs, which is a tech startup with one philosophy: to create intuitive technology and software for everyday entrepreneurs so that they can work smarter and focus on the business, not the tech. So you can connect with Lauren through her website, goldenkeypartnership.com, and we will, of course, as usual, be posting all of Lauren's other social profile details for you on the replay too. So there's going to be plenty of ways that you can get connected to Lauren and find out more about her, get following her and get interacting with all of her strategic goodness. Now, in today's show, Lauren is going to be talking to us about how we can uncover the bottlenecks in our business and help us with some unique ways to grow our audiences with existing assets. We'll also be digging into how systems can help us to work smarter and more strategically. And hopefully she's going to help us with one simple tactic to help you get out from under your business. So we can work hard for our profit, or we can choose to learn how to make profit in the most efficient way for our business. Now, Lauren, I don't know about you, but I don't know of an entrepreneur who doesn't want to make a bigger profit whilst enjoying more time freedom. And we're all searching for this magical formula to balance out the time and money piece. So it seems to me that the art of designing a simple and efficient strategy for our businesses sits at the core of all of that. Do you agree with that as a starting point?
Yeah, I do. I think that when you have a good strategy and a good foundation, it's kind of like having a GPS system to make sure that you're staying on track and getting to where you want to go without getting lost.
I think that's a really interesting analogy, the GPS piece in there. I think that idea, it very much ties in with I'll say, the common idea of people having a roadmap, but it is that kind of thing that you have the ability to course correct, and diversions happen all day long, as we know. Mm-hmm. But it gives us the chance to keep on that accountable track and keep us with a view to where we're obviously headed, which sounds great. We'll be digging into that in due course. So before we get into the main part of today's chat, I'd really like the listeners to understand something about you. What is it about you as an entrepreneurially minded business person? What do the listeners need to know? What top characteristics? Basically, tell us why you're awesome. Don't be shy.
You're throwing me a curveball there.
Oh, I know you can handle it.
Oh, goodness. Well, I guess the thing that makes me most awesome is I have this uncanny ability of being able to take the problems that are plaguing a business that seem very disconnected and overwhelming, and figuring out which ones actually are supposed to work synergistically together, which ones we can cut out, which ones we can delegate, and really just make everything make sense. Because I think so often as entrepreneurs, we have all of these problems that we feel need to be solved right now. But in reality, sometimes if you solve the biggest one first, then all those other ones that you were worrying about either go away, or they can get wrapped into that big one. And then suddenly you can, as my father likes to say, eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Absolutely right. Couldn't agree with you more. One of my favorite phrases, that as well.
Yeah.
I use it a lot because it's very much like the question, how do you make more profit? Well, the answer is there's a million ways you can do that. The trick is, can you break it down into some bite-sized pieces and focus specifically on how you're going to attack certain things within your business from a profit perspective? So it's exactly the same thing. Totally get that. Okay. Can you tell us what was it that got you into the online arena? How did that all start for you? Did you start in an offline world? Have you come into the online world? What would listeners take as a piece of inspiration in your own journey to either get started if they haven't yet started, or pick up a piece of momentum from something that you have in your own experience there?
Oh gosh. Well, actually, no. So my background actually is in neuroscience. I was in the medical field. I worked in pediatric neurology and epilepsy research, and was on my way to be a doctor, actually. And then I got very disillusioned with insurance companies treating patients like profits rather than human beings.
There we go.
And I said, I'm out. And that was a really tough choice for me, because I had been in the medical field for over a decade and didn't have a plan B. So the reason I share that is because, when I left, I didn't really know what I needed to do or wanted to do, but I knew I needed to do something. And so I dove into, reading all the business books I could. And I even hired, Anthony Robbins coaching. And the way that I got into this actually was a little bit by my own inner circle, my 5 people saying, you're really good at this, and you know so much about how to make things simpler, solve problems in a different way that make things make sense. So have you ever thought about doing that instead of medicine or whatever I was doing at the time? And I said, no, I haven't. And so it kind of started out as a joke, really, where people were like, well, I have this problem. Can you solve it? And so we talk it through and give them kind of that perspective change roadmap. And then it's gone through several pivot points and manifestations to be what it is today. But I think that the online space is such a big blue ocean that when you can plan and really create that GPS system or roadmap, then there's really nothing that you can't learn or improve or share. And so my journey is very unorthodox, but I think it's also good that I can say I did everything wrong in the beginning, everything wrong. And if I can do it and make a successful company and make an impact, then I believe anyone can.
I have to say, I think it is one of the great things about the online space, as you say, there is accepted experimentation. There is acceptance of the fact that people don't get things right first time. There is acceptance that people will come on, try and do a Facebook Live, and the connection drops out. And it was the biggest thing that they ever had to say. And everybody kind of goes, oh, it's okay, they'll be back on again in a minute. There's none of that kind of moment where you feel like you sat or stood in a boardroom and everything is hinging on the next slide appearing at exactly the right time. I think that there is a lot more fluidity about how people conduct business in that way. And as much as, yes, it is serious doing business online, there is a far more relaxed manner in which people tend to actually engage and create those relationships in the first place. The fact that it is a very virtual existence as well, I think brings a piece of community into play as well. And people strike up relationships in very different ways to they do in traditional face-to-face networking groups, for example. And I think that aspect to me really does, it has a lot to say about the momentum that we actually all have within us to keep going and keep persisting and keep learning. And I think that is a great part of the journey that we all end up going on. Some people just get it right faster than others, maybe, but that's all relative as well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what happened behind the scenes for that overnight success, but I think that there's a great book called Linchpin by Seth Godin, and he talks about ship quickly or ship often. And I think so many entrepreneurs get stuck with getting it perfect. And I tell my clients two things. One, if it's perfect, you've probably launched too late. And also, websites and businesses are both living, breathing entities that demand flexibility and updating. I mean, if you haven't updated your website in a year, chances are that it's not necessarily connecting to your people the way that you want, because everybody changes over time from 90 days to 90 days to where we are today.
Sure. So that sounds like a great way to introduce the topic of strategy. So as a headline starting point, what is it for you that you think actually what are the key components in an effective strategy? What makes a good one stand out for you when you see one?
Well, I mean, I think that strategy has many different facets. I mean, you've got sales strategy, you've got marketing strategy, you've got personnel strategy, and you've got operations. And so for me, the most effective strategies that I see take all of those pillars and they make sure that they're not operating in silos, because that I think is the biggest downfall for businesses, is when one arm doesn't know what the other one's doing. Sure. And, it's kind of like the circle of life in Lion King. It doesn't matter how amazing your sales offer is. If you can't deliver on that offer, then that's going to stop the circle, and vice versa. You could have the worst messaging and the best, thing to give to your clients, but if they don't understand why they need that or what that's going to do for them, then again, that stops the circle of life. So when it comes to strategy, I have a lot of people come to me and say, I want to launch this product and I want it to be a 5-figure launch, but the reality is they may not have the system or the support or the messaging or any number of things to support that goal. And so it's great to have that goal, but you have to have the projects building up that goal, because the reality is there's so much you can't control as an entrepreneur, but what you can control are the daily activities and having that roadmap to make sure that you're on track. And the example I give is back to GPS is autopilot. So planes, this is really fascinating. When I learned this, I was like, oh, this makes good sense. So you're in London. I'm in Austin, Texas. If you took a plane, or I took a plane to London, let's say, the pilot puts it on autopilot. Now it